What's going on, everybody? My name is Seth, and you're watching 252 Squad. And today we're with Sean, and we're going to get started on working on the J32 swap Accord. Today we're going to be cleaning up the engine and transmission and getting it prepped to go into the shell. So let's not bore you with talking. Let's go ahead and get into separating this engine and transmission.
1, 2, 3!
So it is another day since the last video you saw. We got the engine up on the stand, and right now we're actually going to pull a plug out of it and use a borescope here to see down into the cylinders and just tell how healthy hopefully this engine is. Hopefully there's no rust or anything like that in there. It is an aluminum engine, so it shouldn't have too bad of stuff, but I think it does have steel liners in there. I'm not for sure though, but we're going to pull it out and just see how it looks. Hopefully it looks good. So we just got done borescoping the engine, looking down to it, and what I did find was it looks fairly good up there. There's a little bit of crud in the cylinders, but nothing crazy, nothing to cause any worry. And then we have just got done spinning the engine over, making sure that everything spins over freely, and it does, as well as looking through here and made sure that the timing on both sides of the cylinder heads are spinning over, meaning that the belt at least has not come into and that it doesn't seem like it's making contact. So now we're going to put it back together and get to taking things off so we can go ahead and clean up the engine. So, as you can see by the absolute mess behind me, we have started cleaning things pretty deeply. We are leaving this mess behind because we got to go for the night. But honestly, pretty decent progress. Checked over the engine for the day, as well as took all the accessories off and got cleaning the engine and transmission. So, looking pretty good as far as that goes. We got a lot more for this video as far as tearing things down and cleaning, so stay tuned. But that's all for today. See you next time we work on it. So it's been a hot little minute since the last time we filmed and you saw the clips. Right now, Sean has actually got another J32a2 manifold that we got from a junkyard off of a TL Type S. We're taking this one apart to see about just some of the parts and components, as well as maybe giving it a shot at port and polishing it just a little bit, not too terribly much. So that's what's going on over there. I have the engine on the other side, and I'm going to go into that and tell you what's been going on with that. So as far as the engine goes, the progress on this has been we have taken the runners and everything off the top here, the injectors, all of that stuff off there. And we started by doing a pretty much like a epoxy primer, self-etching primer stuff. It goes in here and painting the block itself black for right now before we go through with a silver coat on it. This is just to kind of get it to stick, another base layer there. As you can see, we're masking off there. So we're going to go ahead and finish with a lot of masking and finishing off with the painting inside of the valley there. Other than that, though, it's getting wrapped up for the exterior of the engine. Sean, what do you want to say for yourself?
I don't even know, man.
So he painted the engine off camera and got the manifolds on. These are actually the turbo manifolds for when it goes boosted, but I think we're going to get it straight NA. But man, this thing looks impeccable. It's going to look great in the engine bay. We haven't got the valve covers done because he's going back to Florida and getting them actually like sandblasted down and everything.
2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. So about 2 weeks, this thing's going to be looking a lot better. But honestly, right now, it looks really good. There's a few other goodies that are going on the motor. There's a P2R EGR block-off plate that's already been installed right here. As you can see, J32a2 looks a lot fresher than what it did before. All right, so now I'm getting ready to go ahead and install some of the transmission, getting it cleaned up. Sean's already got the top side cleaned up and painted, but I'm going to go ahead and clean up the bottom side, flip it over, and get that painted to match the engine that's sitting over there that looks really, really good, which I'm going to show you in a few flips, just to highlight for the next video. So after a little bit of work with a rattle can, we got it pretty domed up. You know, that Rust-Oleum restoration. That's what this whole project's about. And don't mind the wheel. We're doing some work with those. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. Pretty much done with the transmission, as well as all the components to go with the transmission. Let's get over to the engine and show you a little sneak peek right past. So not going into too much depth with it, this is what the engine sits like. We still have to do a little bit of work to this intake manifold, but it looks insane now. You can't even tell this car, or this engine was pulled out of a car that sat for a few years. It's got some really crazy billet parts and some other parts, as you can see, that we put on it, and you can catch that up in the next video on the Accord build. Also getting some meaty tires installed right now. That means the chassis is here. So that's pretty much going to be it for today's video of just getting the engine all dressed up and cleaned up. In the next video, you're going to see us start taking everything internal apart and getting a timing belt, a water pump, as well as a few other goodies that are actually really rare from Hall Friendly Performance that are going to be going on the front of this engine. So stay tuned for that. Hope you enjoy the series. If you do, make sure to click the like button and subscribe. Have a great rest of y'all's day. Peace out, and I'll see you next time.